Due to the bank holiday, not all the trains were running, so in order to get from Brighton to Salisbury turned out to be a real big problem. We had to ride on the train, get on a bus, and then back on the train. Finally, we arrived at our hotel in Salisbury. I tried to join the British Army, but they wouldn't take me. We met up with our friends from Salisbury and they showed us around. A peaceful walk along the banks of the Salisbury River. We continue walking along the banks of the river. What a peaceful place. We're gonna like this. That might be my next sweater. I could use one of these at home to cut my grass. Our friends drove us to the next town of Stockbridge. This is a very quaint, nice little town near the Test River. I almost got a haircut here. We went to an area where they had all these yellow plants known as rape plants. These are the plants they use to make canola oil. We've seen these yellow fields in Spain and France and now here in England. Now we know what they're used for. This is the area in the river where they have the eel traps. I hear that fly fishing is very good here too. I don't think this man caught anything while we were there. We came across a lot of nice looking homes in this area. What a nice peaceful place to live. We went into the woods looking for wild blue flowers. Don't ask me why. I was told that we were looking for the bluebell flowers that grow wild in this area. These flowers were everywhere. Next, we went to Longstop Park Nursery. This pillow helps you count the sheep. Barbara wanted to take one of these home. We saw bowls like this in Spain too. This nursery had plants I had never seen before. I wanted some ice cream, but they were already closed. Today they were also having a flea market, so we walked around there too. We went into the restaurant for some tea and crumpets. Next, we headed to the King Hill Locks. We were between locks 22 and 50. This was an easy walk along the canal. There are 105 locks on the Kent and Avon Canal from Bristol to the River Thames. Many of these locks are named. Lock 43 is named after Queen Elizabeth. The locks were completed and opened on December 28, 1810. Pumping stations are used to keep supply of water in the canal. I believe this boat is for hire. The canal continues through the rural landscape of Wiltshire and Berkshire. We were fortunate to see a boat go through the locks today. 2 crew members of the boat have to get off to work the locks. All these locks are manually operated. When a boat wants to come through, members of the crew on the boat have to get off and operate the manual locks. It takes 5 to 6 hours to go from one end of the canal to the other by boat. Lock 41 is the narrowest on the canal. Sometimes they have volunteers that help open and close the locks. We asked if it was alright to help open the locks, just to see what it was like. Can you figure out why I used lock 39? Once the water is lowered and the locks are open, the boat continues on to the next lock. Here you can see all the locks in the distance. Next stop is the city of Bath. The street performers were out all over the place, including souvenir vendors. The city became a spa in the year 60 AD when the Romans built baths in a temple in the valley of the river Avon. Bath Abbey was founded in the 7th century and became a religious center. Many of the streets and squares were laid out by John Wood the Elder, and in the 18th century the city became fashionable and the population grew. Further building was undertaken in the 19th century. The Putney Bridge, completed in 1774, and it crosses River Avon. Even the birds enjoy the bath. It was a beautiful day and not a lot of big crowds. At the other end of the street is St. Michael's Church. Jack's of Earth looks like a knick-knack store. If you look close, you'll see musical notes floating in the air. The Bath Abbey is an Anglican parish church and former Benedictine monastery. On the right, you can see angels going up the ladder to heaven. This is the Bath Farmers Market. Bizarre Bath. This would have been interesting. It was great walking around through these old streets. Got a very fancy pharmacy. The Grand Pump Room is a historic building in the Abbey churchyard. We went inside for a snack. Right next to the pump room is the mineral spring baths. Royal Crescent Road was built in 1767 to 1774. back in Salisbury, we went to the Cathedral of Salisbury. The cathedral was built in 1220. That makes the cathedral 798 years old. Today they had displays of medieval artifacts. The picture on the left is known as the Cloister Walk. This is the Salisbury movie theater, which was built in 1470. On the right picture are two movie stars. Later in the day we went to the New Inn where I had some fish and chips. The building dates back to 1320. Here is the petrified hand sitting in the wall. Next, we went to the Fauvin-Bages Hills. During the First World War, the soldiers were garrisoned in this area. The soldiers carved replicas of their badges on the chalk hill. At this cemetery, we could find some of the World War I soldiers buried. On the next day, we just stayed around town. Today, the market is in full swing, so we went looking around. Here's a Catalonian vendor from Spain. I ate some of the chili, which was very good. He even had colored potatoes. Waffles like I've never seen before. They even had a fruit and vegetable stand. Flowers for sale. This is an outdoor meat market. Anybody ready for pig's feet? Look at that, they have roaches here too. Wooden beer mugs, I bought 2 of these. There was a big variety of products here today, and I loved the outdoor pub. As the sun went down, the parties continued at the pubs and restaurants. After a few hours of partying, everybody went home. This is the market square where they had all the little tents set up, all gone, cleaned up, ready for the next day. We kept walking around town and realized that everybody was gone and all the stores were closed. Here is Salisbury at 11 o'clock. So we headed back to the hotel. Goodbye, Salisbury, England.